day job. I mean, does it also come? Does it come to you that way?
Yes. Yes, and it comes to me that Nigerian affair is not a party affair. We don't need to discuss parties at all. Yes, it's not a party affair. It's that people are prone to stealing. And they see stealing as natural. And they steal as much as they can. They steal what they don't need. And they don't care of what happens to others. And because those others are eating, they are not fighting them. Because we have natural resources, like my friend have said, he might as well not spend more than $200. But myself in IT, all my raw material, including the data, MTN and Airtel, they have increased their data rates. So
government is also getting from that.
So you see, they are different. If you are a farmer, one, you go to the villages. The villagers are not hungry, but they don't have roads. They are still using their cutlasses. They don't have tractors. They are still processing only gari. They are not worried whether every other person in town is hungry. When you are hungry in town, you come to meet them in the village, and they charge you whatever they want to charge.
Let's pay a thought about institutional sanctions. I don't know if we really had enough of that in the last 8 years. I don't, like to talk about. I believe the Buhari administration is gone and forgotten. And I think they have a few months left. The challenge is
let's look at Nigeria. Let's look at ourselves.
But for any government to be realistic and to follow to the letter provisions of this budget, what about institutional sanctions? Because you hear people.
The adjustments of this budget have started from the Senate. There are some people we should never budget for. All those money generating agencies. Why should Nigeria be budgeting for Ports Authority? Abeokuta was having a port, and from the port of Abeokuta we were able to build railway, we were able to build roads in Abeokuta. That was in the 1840s. So how will you now tell me that Nigerian government is budgeting for ports? Who for? Why should Nigeria budget for Federal University of Agric, Abeokuta? Why should they? They have given them 10,000 or 12,000 hectares of land. If I bequeath that to my children that they cannot manage it and pay their salaries successfully, and I take them to Bill Gates, I don't think I will be satisfied.
No. If you talk about,
let me tell you, the private university of the one at Ilorin, they are giving their students free food, and they are paying their something. They are even giving free education in something. So it's a question of mindset.
Is it not also about the fact that over the years, it's like there's a template, for budget preparation? And that's what successive governments come to.
No innovation.
There is a template, but before I answer your question, I don't want us to lose sight of an information that I must give here that I'm aware of in FUNAB. In FUNAB, we have students paying 25,000 naira per session, subsidized by the federal government, while it costs FUNAB to train one student of 500,000 naira. To train one student, 500,000 naira. How are they going to generate that from 10 hectares of land?
10,000?
From 10,000 hectares of land. How are they going to generate that? Now, look at the difference. About 475,000 naira per one student. I know what Professor Felix Falako did for the past almost 5 years that he has been there. And when I discuss with ASU, I tell them, when you go to FUNAB, all your complaints are not relevant in FUNAB. Because if you look at their theater halls in FUNAB, is not overcrowded. They even have larger tractor halls. They have, if you look at their laboratories today, so standard. Look at their solar powered.
I think what he was trying to talk about when it comes to using FUNAB as an example is that for FUNAB to be in Ogun State and of course the capital of the state, it means that with that large, land
yes,
mass,
I'm coming there.
The people here should
listen,
be able to
I'm coming there so that I can easily
food production, processing, and
so that I can
value chain that you talked about.
I can easily answer this question. Listen, they are doing a lot of cashew. They are doing a lot of gari. They are doing some palm oil. You see, what we should really be talking about that is wrong with this economy. I've given this economy a pass mark, but you've never asked me what I'm worried about.
What are you worried about?
Exactly. Thank you very much for asking me. What I'm worried about this economy is that, like you said, it's not enough. That's number one. Number two, we are talking about value chain, adding value. And then you are giving agriculture 322 billion naira. That's what agriculture has in this budget. Health has 1.02 trillion naira. The military has 1.2 trillion naira. Education has 1.01 trillion naira. Then you give agriculture 322 billion naira. You give Ministry of Works, you give them 300 and something billion naira. So why I'm agreeing with him is that we should have a budget of 150 trillion naira. But how are you going to generate the funds when you do not create these value chains gradually?
And you have debts to
service.
So is it more about having huge budget?
No, it's not only
step by step.
It's step by step. It's step by step. That's what I said earlier. So by the time 3.6 trillion naira that is supposed to be for subsidies is brought back
into the system
when the refineries come on stream, the 2024 budget will be a budget of wealth. Honestly, we cannot springboard from 0 to 100%. It's not possible. It's not possible. And if we are talking about getting our universities to be autonomous, the parents will pay the fees.
So is that what you are actually talking about when you said FUNAB should be
what my friend is talking about FUNAB, I happen to be equally very familiar with it. What you have described that Professor Salako have done is efficient use of resources.
Exactly.
What other universities are complaining, you are telling us is not valid in
FUNAB
because of efficient use of resources.
But
they are already, the structure did not allow them to maximize
the potential of
something. I have a daughter in a university, and all this japa you are hearing, people are going to universities on scholarship given by the university. What is that model? It means that the universities are paying the school fees of those students. It means that while they are studying, they are adding value. Like you said, what stops you FUNAB students from planting enough cashew, exporting cashew, and making their fees from there? Why must it be from federal government?
Yes, there are regulatory laws there are regulatory laws that hampers FUNAB to do some of those things. Yes. And that is the problem we have in this country. We are over-regulated. No, we are stifled down. For example, let me blow your mind. You all know this. Malaysia came here, picked palm kernel. They are now the third largest producer of palm oil. Imagine if our palm oil industry is thriving and we have mills all over this country and we are feeding the world with palm oil. The market of palm oil cannot be oversaturated today. China is number one. No, India is number one. I think followed by China and then followed by Malaysia. So why are we not top there? I checked our position the last time I looked at the list. We are about 15. And we are the most blessed with palm trees. Even they grow wild. Now there are hybrid palm trees that can grow within 2 years and start producing. So why are we not concentrating on that?
So what sort of new thinking do you think can take us to the El Dorado that we all have been?
I am thinking one of it is deregulation. Let the private sector come in. I was president of the Chamber of Commerce. We went to FUNAB. They had the land. We said, okay, why can't we get 2,000 of these 10,000 hectares for cashew? They said they have no council to approve. Then they started talking about regulations that will make it impossible. I have a daughter in US who did her master's based on cow eating grass, and they are turning the grass to ice cream. That's the value chain, from grass to ice cream. And so, you come in for your master's, you don't pay. Your research is on that. And that university is providing ice cream for the whole of New York State, providing milk for New York State. So they don't, if FUNAB is providing all the help we did in Lagos and Abeokuta and Ogun State, FUNAB will never need one kobo of federal funds.
Can we look at budget, federal government budget, and over-regulation of, or the stifling of, over the years, we've actually complained of state governments being arms twisted, you know, when you check various parts of the Constitution, in terms of electricity, a whole lot of sectors, the state governments don't even have a say at all, you know, and then we see budget, and the federal government just comes up with a budget, and then the states that are actually occupying the spaces, because I don't think the federal government has any space. The states are the ones occupying the spaces, are not empowered. You know, I read about you know, efforts of the federal government in the area of electricity generation and all of that. Now, budget of federal government versus the incapacitation of the states. How do you reconcile?
You just hit the nail on the head. You know, and that's why we are talking about restructuring, that is devolution of powers from the exclusive list to the concurrent list. They are trying, they've done a little bit of it, but you see, if you go to the US, as he has always referred to, there is no federal grid. There is no national grid of electricity. Yeah. You know, you generate your electricity, you distribute it, and you consume it within your state. And in fact, there are smaller sections that create, that generate their electricity. And that's what I think University of Ibadan is doing now. They've gotten some people to come and fund their solar system. FUNAB has joined them. UI is on now with independent power project with the solar system. And then FUNAB is going to come on stream very soon. So I think they have done that. They've released the state a little bit, but my grouse is with the state governors, the state governments. What are we doing? When we are shouting that the federal government is not doing enough, what are the state governments doing with the leverage they've been given, the little freedom they've been given? What are they doing with it? What's stopping Ogun State, Lagos State from doing a lot of things in agriculture? Like Lagos State synergized with Kebbi State to produce lake rice. Now, I'm aware that the Commissioner of Agri-Care is doing a lot in that area. I hope it will just spring out very soon. I'm also aware of a privileged information of what Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun is planning. I just hope, because I hope when they vote, maybe if he has second time to complete it, he has this plan that I just heard it. They were talking and I just picked it up. A $500 million project of a deep sea port in that our water side, that we create huge investments that agriculture will flow in with the cargo airport. So if you bring that on board, you have the cargo airport, you have the deep sea port, merge it together with that kind of assistant. This $500 million is not even Nigerian money. He went outside and he was able to get it with the Commissioner of Agriculture, with the governor, going physically after these funds. And an investor is coming with $500 million to invest in Ogun State. So imagine if they have $500 million in 10 places or in 20 places coming in to invest in agriculture, invest in some palm oil, the cocoa chain, value chain we've been talking about, invest in rice production. We will be in the El Dorado that we are looking for.
No,
so overregulation.
But again, overregulation. But again, we also see, and this is not just limited to state government. We only see fine figures.
Fine,
you know,
fantastic
figures.
Beautiful
you know,
figures
and
like
that's my
that.
worry. And that's my worry about this budget. Yes, I've also read through. You know, I don't usually read budgets, you know, thoroughly, but this one I read through.
Honestly.
And I've seen that, you know, it's also fine, you know. But again, what about the political will? We are entering another political dispensation very soon. Another government is coming in. Political will. Yusola?
Yeah, political will is evident. You get into politics by votes. Whoever wins now knows the youths are serious. Most likely, anybody that will win must struggle for the votes of the youths. So when he gets there, he must satisfy their unemployment demand, must satisfy value addition to create jobs for them. He must satisfy availability of transmodal services such that people can move from one place to another. You know, these are things that are happening.
I think there's also a projection in that sector too. I think we must also credit this administration. Transmodal transportation.
Yes.
Lagos, Ibadan, Kaduna, Abuja, and we also see
the multimodal,
I think
the seaport. You talk about different.
You want to. I think there's also a projection on that in the budget.
Yes, but we are just like he said. He said we need 10, 36 times that kind of things.
So looking
That's
at
when the budget will be near what I think we can be talking about.
Looking at education, for example, you know, the higher institutions, 470 billion naira was budgeted for the education that's in the higher institutions, and you look at the crisis of ASU presently, I don't know if that has anything to do with resolving the crisis in that sector right now.
No, that has resolve the crisis as far as I'm concerned. The total education budget is 1.02 trillion naira, and university education now is 470 billion naira. And what ASU is actually asking for is about 1 trillion naira over a period of about, I think, 5 years. They were asking, I think for a long period, and then they were saying that they should be giving like 50 billion per quarter or something like that. So this is more than what they are asking for within a year. So with 470...
You think by 2023 we might not be having ASU strike?
I don't think ASU strike has been... They overdid it, and I think they put on the last straw that has broken the camel's back.
That's your opinion.
That's your opinion.
With Konwa coming on board, with the appeal court telling you that you have to go back to work, what are you going to do? I have always had a problem with ASU going on strike for 40 years, using the same idea to solve the same problem and expecting a different result. If we have lecturers in the university that are supposed to teach solutions and they are not ingenious about solving their own problems, then I have a problem with them. If I am a lecturer and I want to solve this problem, if I am the leader of ASU, I will not go on strike. You know what I will do? like what some of them have done. Get budgetary allocations and lobby for it to be released to you. That is the Nigerian system. If possible, get it padded through the National Assembly.
You're encouraging something else.
What do you do when you need it? You need this money.
Maybe they are not adept in lobbying, lecturers.
They are not adept in lobbying. Let us be realistic. Most of the people in the National Assembly, they are degree holders, which means they were graduates of this same university system. All the elections are conducted by professors, I mean?
Yes.
And then the person gets elected, and then all the people that are going to be elected are graduates from the same universities, and you come and sit down and say, the politicians are treating us like this. Who are the politicians? Are they not the same graduates, your own students?
Is it also part of our evolutionary challenge that they have to lobby? Do they have to lobby?
It is.
Do they have to lobby? Sorry,
I'm a private sector man.
You don't
Lobbying is also...
If you don't lobby, my dear brothers, if you don't lobby, how do you get your licenses?
I said, I'm a private sector
I'm a
man.
producer of herbal medicine. If I don't lobby, will I get my NAFDAC number properly? Will they come in time to inspect my it's not, lobby does not mean bribery
does
and
not mean
corruption. No.
That's not due process.
No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that, okay, let me say it in a writer's, being a writer also. Let me say let me say it the way we say it. As a chairman of Guild of Public Affairs Analysts of Nigeria, I will say that be in the face of the decision makers. Don't go and sit down in your university and then just wake up one day, I'm not working again and I want to be paid. Where do you...
Sorry, let's hear your own view about lobby.
Lobby and of course the absolute crisis.
Maybe it's string to Sorry.
Yes, the way you are talking about lobbying and all these things you are saying, yes, we need to bring some people to have attention to behave in particular ways, not for them to misbehave. If you're a governor and I know this thing is good for Ogun State, I come to you, introduce it to you, you have a right to accept or reject it in overall interest of the state. If you do it otherwise and you expect me to lobby you in another way for it to happen, I might refuse to lobby you because you are the greatest loser. Once I start using what I'm saying, and I'm saying it outside, and people are telling you that if you don't do that thing, they will not vote for you. Politicians are already, to me, they are easy to manipulate.
Anyway, we're closing very, very soon, in the next 2-3 minutes. This budget, someone was asking me, okay, my son said, Daddy, does Buhari have to present another? He's gone already. I said, no, it is statutory that he does that.
Is this last?
Now, the challenge for the next administration, I mean, we said it the other time, the political will. Some people have also, I don't want us to spend too much because we have just like 2-3 minutes on this. Some people have also, been despondent about the characters of the frontliners, those that are taking over from. One of them is going to take over from Buhari. They're not particularly too sure about the will, to make sure that this budget works. Quickly.
I believe that we have good leaders that are going to take over from him. I can easily tell you that, for instance, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did a lot of work in Lagos State, succession plan for about 16 years, going to 20 years now, and it's going. The ocean surge was solved. The problem we have now, which is flooding, somebody that solved the ocean surge can solve flooding. If you look at the obedient man, he also is saying that he wants to be frugal and all that. And if you look at Atiku, he also has experience as the vice president. He's been there. He saw it.
So any of the three is good for you.
It's good for me.
Okay. I was going to say you're going to stick out your neck for one of them.
No, I'm sticking out my neck for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm batified. He put my leg. Campaign has started.
Sorry, yes.
I'm saying,
I'm batified.
Ìkòkò funfun ti ń jáde from time immemorial.
Yeah.
From this ìkòkò dúdú we are having, ẹ̀kọ funfun máa jáde.
Yes.
Okay, so
please, we cannot close by not commiserating with the 76 people that died in Anambra State because of flooding.
Yeah.
We cannot close. Yes, we cannot close by commiserating with those that are suffering in Abuja now because the tankers cannot pass Lokoja. Lokoja is totally flooded. And that's why I was talking about ocean surge and solving this flood problem. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do a good job, honestly.
You have finally said it. But Saojola, you're on the fence on this. Anyway,
I'm not on the fence.
Are you batified? Are you batified?
I'm not on the fence. Please, but as an elder and a Yoruba man,
yes,
we speak in parable.
This time around, as an elder, come out play. Let our people know where you are.
Anyway, this is not
batification of
this
the
is not. This is we still have a lot of time to talk about politics.
Okay.
The elections are around the corner, but for now, on the front burner has been the election issue. I mean, has been the budget issue,
okay,
and that will continue to dominate the media, I'm sure, in the next few days. We want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming on this program. Sorry, Shola, thank you so much for coming. Always a pleasure to have you here. And
I'm not qualified.
Thank you so much too.
Thank you very much. This budget is good for anybody to take over from and do a wonderful job.
All right, that's the first discussion segment of the program. We'll come back shortly, and then we shall be discussing World Mental Health Day. Stay with us.
Thank you.